Hey everyone, welcome back to Engelbard Gaming. Recently, I was inspired, folks. Inspired by a piece of music I heard while watching Season 1, Episode 13 of Monty Python's Flying Circus, titled Intermission. Of course, I've seen it before, many times, but I noticed something this time that I hadn't noticed before. During the sketch with the policemen that use magic to fight crime, there's a song playing in the background, and it really sounded very familiar. Then it dawned on me that it was very much like maybe the most famous piece of game music ever produced on the good old Commodore 64. And well, that's what today's video is going to be all about. I'm going to show you a small collection of video game songs that might seem familiar to you for one reason or another. And you may think that composers for multi-billion-dollar companies know better than to borrow sections of songs for their own game compositions. If you think that, well, you're wrong! I'll have you listen to several cases of game music that was, shall we say, inspired by other music. You'll hear the original, and then you'll hear clips from the game. Oh, and I'll just show you some footage of the game Human Killing Machine while you listen, because no one watched that video and maybe someone will finally see some footage of it here. Anyway, hopefully the copyright demons will stay away from this video, since I'll be using very short clips to ensure everything in this video stays within the realm of fair use. Also, I'll link the full songs in the video description. Let's get on with it. First up, we're going to talk about a song named The Devil's Gallop, which was composed by Charles Williams, and it's the theme song for an old radio drama that aired in the UK called Dick Barton. And no, I didn't misspell it on screen. For this title, there's only one L in the word Gallop. So I'll play a few clips of it, followed immediately by a few clips from a game that might sound
very, similar.
The game in question here is Monty on the Run, and its in-game song is the one I was talking about a moment ago as maybe the most famous in-game tune of any C64 game ever made. And you know what? It's amazing! I loved this song back in the day when the game was fresh and new, and it still sounds great today. In this case, composer Rob Hubbard admitted to being inspired by The Devil's Gallop, and to be fair, he transformed it pretty significantly. You can hear the original melodies in there, but still, I think it's fair to give him a pass on this. What do you think? Does the theme song from Monty on the Run sound a little too close to Devil's Gallop? Anyway, on to our next example. Let's jump over to Ys 3, Wanderers from Ys. Ys 3 released on a bunch of platforms starting in 1989, including several Japanese PCs. It eventually made its way to the Super Nintendo, the Genesis, and Turbo CD, just to name a few systems. There's a song called Searing Struggle that plays in a fire cave a little ways into the game. We'll listen to the Turbo/PC Engine CD version of the song in just a moment. What we'll compare it to is a song from the game Jim Power, which came out a few years later in 1992 on the Amiga. The music for Jim Power was composed by Chris Hulsbeck. Before we get to the music itself, let me say that I completely admire Chris Hulsbeck. His work on the Turrican soundtracks is mind-blowingly fantastic, and his modern arranged versions are just incredible work, so I can't stress this enough. Chris is a supremely talented musician. Having said that, there's one time where he may have taken inspiration a little too far. Well, just listen and judge for yourself. Chris Hulsbeck has been asked about this before, and at one point he'd said it was accidental, that he didn't realize he basically copied that part of the song. Other times, he's said it's an homage to Searing's struggle. So, what do you think? Was it accidental? Was it an homage? Or something more sinister? Okay, now here's one I just couldn't leave out of this video. We probably all know Black Sabbath's I Am Iron Man. It's just a little bit famous. Now I'm going to play a small clip of it, followed by a small audio clip from Tecmo's arcade brawler Ninja Gaiden. The boss song from the second level might just give you a sense of audio deja vu. Ripoff man, but I changed one note, so I guess it's okay. Okay folks, I'm dedicating an entire section of this video to Nintendo in-house composer KOJI Kondo. Why? Well, first, Nintendo have gone copyright crazy recently. They're striking YouTubers for using short clips of their games as short as 3 seconds. They're suing people. They're forcing the removal of sheet music from some of their game's songs off of the internet. They're just generally being giant jerks and being way more aggressive than most other game companies in attacking their own fans. But you know what? Nintendo has done plenty of intellectual property theft of their own. Musically, some of their most famous tunes were undoubtedly, at a minimum, at least partially stolen. And KOJI Kondo is one of their prime offenders. He's like the Mozart of misappropriation, the Newton of Luton, the Darwin of borrowing. You get the idea. And of course, I'm going to show you the proof, and there's way more of it than I'm going to use in this video. I'll keep it limited to 6 examples for today, but believe me, examples stretch well into the double digits. For this segment, I'm going to play a bit of a song, and then KOJI Kondo's completely original and not at all similar song. Here we go. Now what's the sad excuse for these examples of what sound like they could well be copyright infringement by Nintendo? KOJI Kondo claimed in an interview that occasionally he writes songs that, quote, sound too much like other people's songs, and that he has to rewrite them. Maybe he forgot about that whole rewriting thing just a few times, huh? If it sounds like I'm being hard on KOJI Kondo, well, I am. Nintendo is vigorously anti-consumer, and when they're hypocritical, they should be called out for it. They make some great games, and I really love a lot of them. But it's hard to like Nintendo as a company, with all the awful things they do to their fans, and Nintendo deserves to be called out for all the garbage they pull. And again, There are a lot more examples of music that they, let's be generous and say borrowed, that I'm showing you in this one video. So I'll finish up here by saying that, as a musician myself, I can totally understand writing something that ends up similar to a song that already exists. I always realize when I've done that, but just in case, I usually have a few other people listen to anything I write before I put it into a game or soundtrack. And there's a lot of music out there. It's normal to be influenced by other songs. It's entirely possible to even come up with sections or entire songs that are similar to something else that exists. But in the case of KOJI Kondo, so many of his songs sound similar to songs that already exist that it's really hard to believe it was accidental. One time, 2 times, you maybe get a pass. When it's more than 10 times, it sure looks like you're doing it on purpose because you keep getting away with it. What do you all think? Were these mere cases of regular old influence, or were these songs, or at least parts of them, intentionally stolen? Tell me all about your opinions on this topic in the comments. And man, could I do a lot of episodes on this topic. Also let me know if you want to see more. That'll do it for this video, my retro gaming friends. If you enjoyed it, please like it and share it online somewhere. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of my videos. If you want to support the work that I do here, you can do that on Patreon, Ko-fi, or right here on YouTube through channel memberships. With that, I'll say thanks for watching, and see me later.